I've gone ahead and sewn that, and I took out my little blisters from the pins, and I just did a preliminary turn here before trimming and grading because I wanted to see if it was going to look good. And I pulled it out, and I'm mostly looking at this notch here, where the dot was, and I thought, wow, it looks really good, except what happened here? Guess what? It's that red magic marker dot. So, good lesson, don't mark your dots in red felt pen that will come through. And you'd think this would be right at the dot, but as I matched up the dots pretty good, but on this one side, it was off a little bit on this side, so I matched it up more with the stitching. So it was off the dot just a little bit on this side, but look how nice those come together. And the other case in point here, do not use red thread, bright red thread with the gray and white jacket. Now, had I sewn that in white, like the cream or gray, you would never even see that stitching right there. So once in a while, sometimes you do tend to see the stitching lines a little bit. And so, but most of that's just the dot. That's the dot from all the other sides. So yeah, don't do that. See the dot right here? Anyway, so that worked out pretty good. I think that looks really nice. So now I'm gonna go back and trim and grade everything. Okay, so when you're trimming and grading, you have to reverse your grading at the lapel. So, but the collar is the same. So on the collar, so white is to the world. So when this gets turned around, see the facing part is what you see. So this is the facing part. So I'm gonna do this one at, well, I haven't sewn that side yet, so I'm not gonna do that. But right here, see, I'm going to trim that at 3/8 or a scant 3/8 basically. So here we go. So I'm just trimming, grading that. And then this is just gonna be, you know, barely a little bit more. So I'm actually just gonna take my scissors and line it up here. And you can see it's just barely. You know, you only need to just so you don't cause that ridge. And so I'm gonna kind of come up here like that. And I'm trying to get rid of bulk. So the other thing is when I'm over here, I'm gonna cut across that corner, and then we're gonna cut through this corner again. Okay, because all of this here has to go inside here. So you wanna be careful. So here's my 3/8, or this very scant 3/8. And then here's this one. See, and I just made it just barely enough. I might go back and clip out just a teeny bit more. Okay. Oh, you know what? I just realized this one is supposed to be the longest one. So I got to go back here. This one has to go down a little bit. That's right. So I'm just going to come over here. There, see? So this one should be at 1/4. So come over to this side. And see, I put my interfacing a little bit into the collar so that when I stitched it, it would be part of the stitching. So I'm just gonna, and then, okay, and so now this one is a little bit wider. That's what you want. A little wider to the world on that top one. Okay, all right. And I'm just gonna, this one needs to be shorter. So come over here and let's trim this down to 1/4. Seeing that, so you can see the different levels there. Okay, so now I would go to here, but before I do this, I would sew the other side as well. But I'm sewing this one right now just to show you the next step. And then I'll go finish that side so I can show you the step after that. So, all right, so here's this. And then also you want to clip a little bit of this out. See, so here, out of that seam, but I haven't done this one yet. Okay, and then let's do this side. And this one is a little bit longer than the 1/4. I always put my fingers under to make sure I'm not cutting anything that should not be cut. So I'm gonna go up here and stop because I gotta finish stitching that. Okay, so there's that. Okay, now we'll do, okay, now this is the neck here. Now, over on this side, remember how we did the neck here? Press it open and staggered it. I need to also trim this neck at 3/8, and I haven't done that. So, but I think I will go ahead and stitch this side before I trim this neckline, and then I'll press it open. And then I'm going to trim this. Now, you want to do what's called reverse grading. So when I turn this, let's say that this is turned, and see, this will be nice and turned as well. And remember, this is the upper collar. And see, with that tailor blister, this, see how nicely, and I'll work with this a little bit to get this out with the little point turner. But you see how it, the seam, it favors, and I still need to press it open, but this favors it to this side. Jacket would sit to here, then I would trim whitest to the world on this part here, then I would stop and trim, wherever it turns, like right here, then this becomes whitest to the world because it goes like that. So you kind of have to reverse it here like that. Okay, all right, so I'm gonna finish trimming and grading, and then I'm going to push that out. But before I finish trimming and grading, I want to sew the other side first. So I'll do that, and then we'll finish up.